If you have an employee or a coworker that says, "Hey, I have this going on. I just want to make you aware." I feel I would hope it's a similar perspective. We're telling you so that if something gets missed or if there's something you really want to make sure is done, we're telling you just to make sure that nothing slides through the cracks. And it's just an awareness. If you have a reason that you want to make sure everything is right, you have your checklist. So, you know, is your camera working right? Do you have all the technology that you need? Do you have this and that? There's something there that isn't working quite right, so you make sure you have things in place to back it up. And that's what, in the professional world, when you have someone that's still really capable of doing a lot, they're sliding a little bit, but still in the workforce, still capable of living, at a very high level and working at a very high level. um, Talk to them about, what they need. Do you want, a daily email, or what will help, or how a checklist? It's just one of those things. If they're a great employee, you value them, you want to help them get through as long as they can, because if they're still working, they clearly want to be there, they clearly want to continue on. And the your brain is working while you're working. So, you got everything's firing in there. So it helps you until it frustrates you. And eventually that will happen. But if you work with them and have the open conversations with them, you did great here. Um, do you like how I present this list, or is this what works best for you? Or, what, this was sliding a little bit. What do you think we could do better next time? Or what do you think we missed? How can we make it up? Best thing to do is talk about it. You can't change things or make any things better if you don't talk about it.
I think for the community, they should not feel a fear of, you know, being inclusive. They should leave that choice up to the individual.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to invite them out and to do those same things. I think a lot of people, when you know that somebody's dealing with an issue, maybe you stray from that and you say, you know what, maybe I would have called them, but I'm not going to. They probably won't want to go out anyway, or they won't want to do this. But I think for the community, they should, it is that communication. Don't be afraid to say, hey, we're doing this. Do you want to come out? Let the individual make that, and
Yeah.
the people that are around them make that choice. Don't make it for them.
It's the patient's family and caregivers too that need to kind of make sure that they're taken care of, so that there's something somewhere. If, as I progress, um, all the neighbors are going to know if they see me wandering or something like that. And yes, I'm laughing and making jokes at it now because I can't picture myself being that way. But in nursing homes and things like that, they're aware of it. They have door locks on and stuff and protections in place. If you have someone living at home, if you are close with your neighbors at community, communication is the best ally that you have, because that way someone is aware that if they see this, or if they notice something weird, or it's, you know, 10 degrees out and they're wearing shorts and cleaning off their car or something, just little things like that. The communication, the being open about it. You don't need to share all your business, but hey, just to let you know my dad's moving in, he's going downhill. If you see him, call me or contact me. Just it kind of takes a team effort to make sure things happen so that people are taken care of. That makes sense.
Yeah, I see it from a different view. So I don't. I'm a retired state trooper, and we've gotten into where, well, before I retired, we have a records management system that you're able to flag certain addresses and people profiles and things like that, which, I think it's an underutilized resource, because, you know identifying that person and having that little flag, hey, if you come across this person, they have this issue going on, or if you go to this residence, they have this issue going on. So police are involved in that, and now I see from a different standpoint in dealing with local government, and you have a piece in the we see a lot of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a lot of times we think of race and things like that, but this is really a component of DEI, where it is equity for people like this. It is inclusion for people that suffer from a disease like Alzheimer's. So probably starting to inject yourselves more into that, so we don't look at it just from a race standpoint, because that's a component of it. But there are so many more, and this is one of them. Yeah, and they can flag a person, they can flag so and that shouldn't be, I guess, maybe when they first deal with them, they need to be a little more proactive. It happened. Both my grandparents suffer from dementia, and
they're like way in their
yeah,
90s too. Yeah.
but my grandfather, they found him out one night, and it just happened to be a trooper buddy of mine that was called to the scene and knew him because he had been. My grandparents have a huge farm and a pond and stuff, and he knew he'd been up there. He knew who my grandfather was, and called me. That wouldn't happen for most people. They may have struggled for a long time to find out, is he capable of saying who he is, and do you trust that he's giving you the right, whatever in that situation. So maybe being proactive, and it's not trying to create a label, but just awareness for them so that it doesn't get to that point. We don't want to take hours to try and find family or try to figure out what's going on with them, and come to the wrong conclusion. So I don't know what that looks like, and I don't want people to feel like by giving up that information they're again being categorized or whatever. It's just to me, I like to be proactive as opposed to reactive, and giving that information ahead of time. Maybe the police reach out, or maybe there's a way for one of these organizations to feed that information to the police for somebody. Hey, these are the people in our area. I don't know. And maybe they're.
See, I think like even with like 911 call centers, if you have somebody, and again, I'm really reaching here. I don't know anybody that's done this. Maybe I saw it on a show or something, but somebody with dementia that keeps calling 911 for something, like that's just, they're worried about something,
They
or
do it. I've been to those houses.
yeah. So, and I'm hoping that part of what you are building here, like dementia friendly, it's not about labels or stigmas. It's
Right.
really about safety for the patient and the community, and it's coming together as a community to really kind of, well, kind of just be good neighbors is what it comes down to. It's really just trying to be a good neighbor.
And get the right kind of help as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Because that's what we look to do, right? I somebody like that, they're confused, or they're out of their element. I need to be able to find the person that can relate to them the fastest and get them there as quickly as possible,
Yeah.
so that we can deal with there's a face that they do recognize, and not just a person in uniform or whatever.